Straight ahead on CCX News, perfect timing on the weather front, what's opening just as temperatures rise. Plus, a somber tribute in Plymouth to those who made the greatest sacrifice for our country. But first, authorities release more information about an officer-involved shooting in Crystal. CCX News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. The Bureau of Criminal Apprehension is investigating an officer-involved shooting in Crystal.
The incident happened shortly before 7 Wednesday night at a home in the 3600 block of Colorado Avenue. A Hennepin County Sheriff's deputy tried to serve an emergency protection order to a man living there. Officials say the order was related to allegations that the man posed an immediate danger because of domestic abuse. A court order required him to leave the home, but when officers tried to get him to vacate, they say he armed himself with a knife and locked himself in a bathroom. There was a standoff for about 2.5 hours before officials finally made entry. Authorities repeatedly tased the suspect, but that did not work. Then a Hennepin County Sheriff's deputy fired his gun, hitting the man. The man was taken to North Memorial Health Hospital, where he is being treated for a non-life-threatening gunshot wound. Crystal police officers and Plymouth police assisted, but were not in the home when the shooting took place.
As we went to air on Thursday evening, no charges had been filed in the case of the 7-year-old Plymouth boy who accidentally shot and killed himself with a loaded handgun that the boy found in his home. A search warrant revealed multiple fingerprints on the weapon as authorities try to sort out who owned it. And according to the warrant, the mother of 7-year-old Kiara Samuels told police a friend of hers visited the home the day of the incident and the gun may belong to him. So how difficult is it to bring charges? We asked Golden Valley attorney Michael Bryant, who has been closely following the case.
The prosecution's going to have to figure out whose gun it is, who put it there, why it's there, who knew about it being there, how the kid got it. So there's a lot of questions the prosecution's going to have to put together. It's a horrible situation. It's a sad situation, and, there's questions about, what the mom knew and those type of things, but it's her kid that she lost, and that's a horrible loss. So for the prosecution, it's going to be answering some very, very tough questions.
The mother's friend is in police custody for failing to report to a required meeting with his parole officer. Memorial Day is a time to remember people who died serving our country.
Every year, volunteers decorate graves at Mound Cemetery in Brooklyn Center with American flags. And this year, football players from Brooklyn Center High School did the job. Some of Brooklyn Center's earliest settlers included veterans, and they're buried in this cemetery. It dates back to the 1860s. There is a Memorial Day ceremony at Mound Cemetery on Memorial Day, and it starts at 11 a.m. Plymouth got a jump on the Memorial Day holiday with a special tribute on Thursday.
We get more from Eric Nelson.
On a hot and breezy day at the Plymouth Veterans Memorial.
This is one of the most important days for me. It's a chance for me to give back to my friends.
The mood was solemn and emotions were raw.
And I get very emotional about it. That's why I do what I do.
So for the next 4 to 5 days, take about 10 seconds a day and just remember to say, thank you. You're not forgotten.
This tribute to the vets was about gratitude, a way to express thanks to soldiers who never made it back from war.
Memorial Day is a day of remembrance.
They may be gone, but they are never forgotten.
I put my flags up. I take them down late Monday night when it gets dark. I just look up in the air and I just say, you're not forgotten. That's what they want to hear. So.
I remember some friends of mine that didn't come home, so every time I think Memorial Day, I have some friends that I call and say, just thank you.
I was just blessed.
Jim Heimerl is a Vietnam vet who went missing in action, but he is one of the lucky ones who made it back to U.S. soil.
I was wounded 3 different times. I'm all bolted together, and I'm still here.
Memorial Day is supposed to be a sacred holiday, but some vets think the power of its message has been lost.
I think it's been blurred. It's not a day of celebration to me.
And there's nothing wrong with having a barbecue. There's nothing wrong with being with family. It's just remembering those and the freedoms that you have and the reason why.
And it comes with a tremendous price, and I hope that no one ever forgets it, because if they do, we're a nation lost.
1, 2,
From the color guard to the patriotic tunes, this day had a special simplicity to it.
If people know you care, it means a lot.
Plymouth's Beyond the Yellow Ribbon and other partners put on Thursday's program.
A Maple Grove lawmaker cites funding for an interchange at Brockton Lane in Dayton among the local wins from this legislative session. $13 million is currently in the bonding bill for the Brockton Lane interchange along Interstate 94.
It's the longest stretch of freeway where there's no exit, and it's in between Maple Grove and Rogers, and it would have a great economic impact on the cities of Maple Grove and Dayton and Rogers, and really help out with the congestion. And we have a traffic problem in our area, and that will really help out. It'll connect with auxiliary lanes to Highway 610 as well.
Republican Representative Dennis Smith is also pleased about the $9 million in the bonding bill that will go toward safety improvements and additional turn lanes at the Highway 169 and 101st interchange in Brooklyn Park. That's assuming none of those projects get vetoed by the governor. And a bill that Smith authored on remote notaries passed. It would allow an online process for anyone needing to sign a legal document in the presence of a notary. Looking ahead to the next session, Smith says fully connecting Highway 610 to I-94 is a top priority. Right now, 610 is about 25% connected.
There's one exit and one entrance, but you need to be going the right direction or it's really not helpful. And in fact, it's caused more traffic problems after the 25% completion than before it wasn't completed at all. It's drawing traffic and the system is just not ready for that much traffic, which is why we need to fully connect 94 to 610.
Smith says 6 more turn lanes are needed to fully connect Highway 610 to I-94. Coming up on Friday, we will hear from DFL State Senator John Hoffman of Champlin on his review of the legislative session.
A Plymouth sandwich shop that first gained fame at its Minneapolis location has abruptly closed. BEWICHED Deli, known for its smoked pastrami and turkey sandwiches, closed earlier this week. It had just opened a second location last fall along Highway 55 and County Road 6. In an interview with CCX News last fall, the owner says he chose Plymouth because of the city's strong economy and to accommodate its catering business.
Also in Plymouth, a housing project that a developer says there's high demand for now may not happen. That's because the city council chose not to re-guide the property to meet city planning requirements. Pulte Homes was proposing single-family homes and townhomes for a 25-acre site southwest of County Road 47 and Troy Lane. The proposal called for 20 single-family homes and 101 townhomes. One council member was uncomfortable with that many townhomes with no affordable housing requirement. The developer says there's a demand for townhomes as empty nesters downsize. The vote was 3-3 with one council member absent. The project needed 5 votes to move forward. Still ahead, we visit Elm Creek Elementary in Maple Grove for today's School Spotlight.
Plus, the Hopkins softball team swings for another win in the section playoffs.
But first, the blast furnace heat has arrived. Temperatures expected to climb into the 90s this weekend.
Elm Creek Elementary is an award-winning school in Maple Grove serving about 520 children.
And teachers and staff strive to create an environment of opportunity and encouragement. Sonia Goins takes us there in today's School Spotlight.
And I'm here to share with you some great work that your school has done over the last 2 years.
Elm Creek Elementary is one of 8 schools to receive recognition as a 2017-2018 Minnesota School of Excellence. We were there when the school was given its official plaque.
I'm very proud of my school, and the award comes from the strengths of the community, our families, our students, our staff.
Students made a rock garden to showcase their new award. Elm Creek won the award for improving in areas like technology and providing opportunities for students through partnerships with local businesses and organizations.
The Osseo Lions and the Maple Grove Lions gave us some grant money, and we did something called the Eagles Roost.
This is the Eagles Roost. It's a place for students to unwind and calm down.
When they go in there, they check in, how are they feeling according to different zones that are color zones, and then there's opportunities for different things in there for them that help them calm down.
When it comes to academics, more than half of the students are meeting or exceeding state standards in math and reading. The school also has several programs to help students who are developmentally or cognitively delayed.
We have resource teachers who work with students with specific learning disabilities, autism. We also have speech therapy, we have occupational therapy, we have a motor room.
And there are opportunities galore for all students. Creek TV, also known as ECTV, allows students to shine in front of and behind the camera.
We have cameras, audio, so microphones, computers, and then we have a switcher.
Meanwhile, the student council holds events to bring classmates together.
Like this Friday, it's a wacky day, so we're gonna be, we can laugh at each other, but we have to be kind when we're laughing at each other.
The kindness group teaches compassion and empathy. The students recently made this kindness tree with messages of thanks.
If like they're having a bad day and a person gives them a high five, or a hug, they would feel a lot more happy.
The students also like to give back. They've held food drives and gave out hats and mittens. They also made blankets.
We do the Project Linus and we make tie blankets. We do the Ronald McDonald and collect pop tabs for families in need who need to stay with their kids.
Cultivating a culture of creativity and high academic standards are what make Elm Creek Elementary a top school.
We care about each other, that we support each other.
Sonia Goins, CCX News.
Still ahead, why it's good timing for July-like weather.
Plus, pro fisherman Terry Tuma has his first fishing tip of the season. John Jacobson is in next.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. The Champlin Park baseball team had a chance to get a share of the Northwest Suburban Conference title Wednesday. They needed to beat league leader Blaine to do it. Top of the second, Blaine with runners in second and third. The ground ball by John Coelho brings Derek Heldman home, and the Bengals take a 1-0 lead. It settles into a pitcher's duel from there. Top of the fourth, Champlin Park's Max Loven gets the inning-ending strikeout. The bottom of the sixth, still 1-0 Rebels with the tying run at third, but Logan McDonald gets the K to preserve the Blaine lead. In the top of the seventh, the Bengals get the bats going. Jake Dorf's hit plates Jack Herring for a 2-0 lead. Next up is Connor Melton, and he lines the hit to bring home Mike Gottschalk. The Bengals get 4 and take a 5-0 lead. And McDonald finishes it off, getting the ground out in the bottom of the seventh with a complete game shutout, and Blaine wins the Northwest Suburban Conference title. Playoff softball continues Friday in Section 6-4A. The Hopkins Royals are the two-time defending champion and the #1 seed again this year in the section. Hopkins hosting Bloomington Kennedy in the second-round winners bracket game. The Royals strike early, a wild pitch scores Natalie Den Hartog from third to give Hopkins a 1-0 lead in the first inning. Later in the first, Parker Stoddard comes through with a big hit. This single to center field scores 2 runs, and the Royals take a 3-1 lead after 1. In the second inning, Den Hartog, a dangerous hitter, blasts one to deep right center field. This one into the trees beyond the fence. A 2-run homer for the senior, and Hopkins has a 5-1 lead on the Eagles. Still in the second, Lauren Granger is up, and she drives one into the gap in left center field. That one gets to the fence. Evelyn Barsick scores. The Royals lead 6-1. Den Hartog does her job in the pitching circle, fanning the side here as the Royals go on to beat Kennedy 8-1. Hopkins hosts Edina Friday at 3 p.m. in a winner's bracket final game. Armstrong and Wayzata are also still alive in the tournament, and both play again on Friday as well, also at Hopkins. Minnesota's fishing opener for bass is this weekend. Today marks our opener for Terry Tuma's 28th summer of fishing tips here with us. Here's Terry with his first tip of the season.
Welcome to another series of open water fishing tips right here on CCX Media. Be sure to constantly tune in, check the time frames that these are going to air. We're going to be covering different aspects of catching all species of fish, but this year we're going to target a lot on bass fishing and also walleye fishing. And the most important factor we never ever talked about is boat control. Why is boat control so important? Boat control offers us a positioning of our baits and lures that must be in the strike window where these fish are at. It's going to vary. You know what changes these fish locations? One is food sources, fishing pressure, sunlight, weather conditions, the time of the year are all major ingredients in where these fish are at. Use your electronics for finding depth, structure, weed edges, and so forth. And when you're casting, if you cast parallel to an area and you make long casts, you can definitely cover water much faster, much quicker, eliminating where these fish are. And then once you find these fish, and you can then cast, maybe it's again parallel to a dock or to a weed edge, a real pinpointed accuracy. If you're jigging, we just got off the river jigging walleye. Boat control was mandatory to position that jig in exactly where those fish are at. If we really work, understand your electronics, understand how your boat reacts in the water, you are going to be successful. Be sure to tune in next week for another tip right here.
Thanks, Terry. His tips can be seen for the next 3 months, Thursdays starting at 4 p.m. here on CCX News and on the web at ccxmedia.org. That's all for sports. Mike and Alex, back to you.
All right, John, thanks a lot. Our next story couldn't come at a better time.
There's some options to cool off as the weather gets even warmer. We'll be right back. And finally, July-like weather arrives just as swim beaches open.
Yeah, and what a difference a few weeks makes. Look at this. This was the scene at Elm Creek Park Beach in mid-March, and it's a whole lot different there today. The man-made swim pond uses filtered and chlorinated water, and as the heat turns up, Three Rivers Park officials are ready for opening day on Saturday.
It's going to be in the low 90s. We hope to have a lot of sun on Saturday and Sunday. Monday's a little iffy, but we're hoping for good weather then. It's going to be busy. We have about 100,000 annual visitors to the swim pond every year. Memorial Day weekend, our kickoff weekend, is probably our busiest weekend, along with 4th of July and Labor Day.
It will be busy, and you can save some time if you buy a pass ahead of time online. Lake beaches at French Regional Park and Fish Lake Park also open on Saturday, but wherever you go, officials stress putting down the distractions and watching your kids, even if there is a lifeguard on duty.
Leave the magazines at home, leave the books at home, put your phone in your bag, keep an eye on your child, and remember that drowning is silent.
Some other popular cooling off spots opening Saturday include the Community Center Pool and Splash Pad in Maple Grove and the Lifetime Pool in Plymouth. The season is beginning.
Perfect timing, right?
Time to dive in. That's it for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
We'll see you back here on Friday starting at 4 o'clock.